Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you've discovered it, yay, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. So as you already know, my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a particular film. So today I'm excited. The movie I'm reviewing is called Godzilla Minus One. This movie is now playing exclusively in theaters. Now, Toho has not disclosed any streaming information about the film yet. So if you want to see this, you've got to go to the theater, and seeing this on the big screen is going to be better than watching it on a small streaming device anyway. So the film is rated PG-13. The movie is 2 hours and 4 minutes long. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving it, drum roll please, is an A. It's outstanding. But let me first give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out all of the things I really liked about the movie, and then all the things I didn't like, as well as tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like if you like this one. All right, you ready to dive in? So in a nutshell, fans of this famous Titan will be very excited to see this. However, it's important that you know that this film is not in English. It features its original Japanese audio track with English subtitles. Now, I know for some people that's just sort of a deal breaker. They don't like reading subtitles. But I think for Godzilla fans, I think that you're probably going to want to do that. There are 38 films in the Godzilla franchise. Isn't that amazing? The original name for this addition to the collection was Gojira Minus 1.0. The story takes place post-World War II when Japan is at its lowest point. Godzilla came in the aftermath of the atomic bomb, presenting a new crisis to the Japanese people. The film was written and directed by Takashi Yamazaki. It's already been nominated for 12 awards, winning 2 of them, Best International Film and Best Horror / Sci-Fi Film by the Las Vegas Film Society. I live in Vegas, baby, so I'm just saying. On a personal note, I took my family to Japan a few years ago, and we all completely fell in love with the country and the people. So let me give you some tips for parents. Japanese is spoken with subtitles, as I mentioned. There's a lot of destruction, and we see a creature being just brutalized. People also are dying and getting hurt. There's talk of a kamikaze pilot committing suicide and that kind of stuff. Violence. So I mentioned violence with various weapons. Now, some of the themes that are illustrated very well are kamikaze pilots' sacrifice and their willingness to sacrifice, which really makes them stand apart. Survivors' guilt, PTSD, family, and even the definition of family itself, and the aftermath of war and the effect that it has not just on the collapsed buildings and that kind of stuff, the destruction, but on the people themselves. So there were a lot of things I really liked about this movie. First of all, one of the nice compliments about this film came from Gareth Edwards, who directed the 2014 Godzilla movie. He admitted to feeling jealous and stated, quote, "This is what a Godzilla movie should be like," end quote. James Rolfe, who's an internet celebrity of sorts, said that this is the best Godzilla movie ever made. Well, that's quite an endorsement. The title refers to when Japan was brought down to zero after World War II, but then dropped below zero, -1, when Godzilla emerged. The story does a really great job making you care about the characters. And that's especially impressive considering they're all speaking Japanese and we're having to read the subtitles. So kudos to the team that translated the subtitles as well, because they enabled us to feel that emotion and get to know the characters through whatever the transcription was with the subtitles. There's also a nice touch of visual and spoken humor. Now, the movie is very dramatic, but there are a few little injections that will make you either laugh or smile or something like that. This is the very first Godzilla movie designed to be a period piece, taking place right after World War II. So the movie looks old and truly takes you back in time. The melodramatic tone also perfectly fits the time period. The one thing that's unique about this version of Godzilla is the inclusion of the Japanese concept tatarigami, and I hopefully I'm pronouncing that one correctly, which means spirits that bring calamity. Now, Godzilla is a monster, but in Japanese mythology, Godzilla's also half God. What that means is that Godzilla could be half good and half bad. And to recognize that there is some good in there, I thought was really interesting. The film also utilizes the suitmation design for Godzilla this time around, which means that its posture is more upright, like he's wearing a suit rather than leaning forward that we see in some of the other films. Some of the CGI moments are pretty doggone cool, such as when Godzilla's breath creates this nuclear blast. There is a total of 610 CGI shots in this film. That's amazing. The film immediately earned a Rotten Tomatoes score of 100%, meaning that's very good. Rumor has it that when the very first negative comments were posted on the site, the director said, quote, "Finally," end quote. The film, I think probably part of the problem is that when you see all glowing comments on reviews, you assume those are all the best friends of the cast and the crew that are stuffing some of those sites. And that has been a problem, actually. The film grossed $11 million in the USA during its opening weekend, which is more than any other Japanese live action movie here in the United States. Part of that probably has to do with the fact that The Boy and Heron, the name of the movie, was also released during the exact same weekend. So have you seen that movie? If so, which one did you like more? I still haven't seen The Boy and Heron yet, so I'm getting to it. I'm still trying to catch up from after I was recovering from surgery for 3 weeks. Some of the original Godzilla music is in the film, which I like, even though English speakers will be frustrated that the film currently is not available in English. It feels entirely respectful and appropriate that the movie is in Japanese. And believe it or not, you might actually cry while you watch this movie. Now, there were only a few things that I put on my list of things that I didn't like. For example, some of the nighttime scenes are very, very dark, especially at the very beginning of the movie, which is going to make it really difficult to see what's going on if you watch this on a small device once it goes to streaming. The movie starts out very slowly with lots of talking. And in fact, I hadn't seen any trailers. I usually don't. I'll just dive into the movie with zero expectations and start watching it. And so I didn't even know that the whole movie was going to be in Japanese. It started in Japanese and I was like, wonder when they're going to, cut to the Americans, or something like that. And then obviously I found that the whole movie is in Japanese. And when it comes to reading subtitles, you have to be up for it. Sometimes I'm just too tired and I just want to watch a dumb movie. And this one you have to pay attention because you have to read all of the things that are being written on the screen. Now, sadly, and this is a big one, Godzilla only has 11 minutes of screen time in this movie. That's only 9% of the film's runtime. So, no. Like I said, there's a lot of talking. The movie starts slowly and you're like, let's get to Godzilla already. So that's really the biggest thing that I didn't like about the movie. And once you see him, you're going to definitely want more. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines while I'm watching movies, simply so I can share them with you so you can get a taste for the script writing and dialogue of the movie. I didn't write down any funny lines. As I mentioned, it is a serious drama, although there are a few lighter moments. But I did write down a couple of serious, interesting lines. One is spoken by a Japanese actress. And by the way, I don't know that American audiences will recognize any of the actors and actresses in the film, but I thought that they all did a really good job. So this line is spoken by an actress whose name is Minami Hamabe, and she says to this other character, "I forbid you to die." Maybe you could say that's a funny line because that's, not something that you say. It's not something that anybody has a whole lot of control over either. And then another line that she says later on is, "Everyone who survived the war is meant to live." Both of these conversations are spoken to a character who was a kamikaze pilot who survived. He was gonna have to do that, but Godzilla came and killed everybody, and he was the survivor, and he feels so guilty about that. And she's saying, if you survived, that was because you were meant to live. And he keeps saying, well, I got to go do this dangerous thing, and she's like, no, don't do it. Anyway, he shows incredible courage in the movie, and it's a very sweet moment. And then at one point, he very humbly says, "I'd like to try to live again." And I just thought, oh, that's so sweet. All right, so while I was watching this film and taking notes, I immediately thought of some movies that you definitely should watch. They're all Godzilla movies, honestly. I think true Godzilla fans love the Japanese versions. So the first one is called Shin Godzilla, which is a Japanese version of it. Another one is Godzilla versus Mothra. And there's been a lot of comparison with this Godzilla to the one that's in that specific movie. And then the last one is an American version called Godzilla King of the Monsters. So definitely check that one out as well. And again, if you are a fan, I think you're going to be very, very pleased with how Godzilla is portrayed in this film, and really just how everything looks and feels in the movie. It's such a lovely postcard to fans of this Titan genre. All right, so thank you so much for watching. By the way, if you're trying to find it on streaming once it goes to streaming, click down below. I've got all kinds of links with coupons to different streaming devices to help save you money so you can watch the film that way. And I don't know when that will be, so just hang tight. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.